after we've held space, we need to make sure that whatever is stuck, that we can release that or cleanse it.
How do you do
Yeah.
that? I know you said you take a shower or whatever, but
Yeah.
what's another way to cleanse your energy really quickly?
Well, so I always go to the visualize things. So I close my eyes and then I can, I see the energy, whatever gets stuck. It can be in my body or outside my body. And then I use my hands and I brush it off. Like you can
Oh,
brush,
cool.
brush, 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 or,
Yeah.
however you can go through your whole body, just brush. That can help.
Welcome to The Air is Free, the podcast that helps you stop gripping what you can't control and start embracing what you can. Join Frida Karsberg and me, Sue Willoughby, as we dive into real conversations about resilience, personal freedom, and finding your center in a chaotic world. Inspired by the Swedish expression "Luften är fri," which means the air is free, this show is about letting go, trusting the process, and remembering that some things in life were meant to be free and limitless. So take a deep breath, let go of what's weighing you down, and let's get into it. Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of The Air is Free, also known as
Luften är fri.
We're so happy you decided to join us today because we have a really cool topic. Today, we're going to talk about holding space and the power of just being present. So, holding space can mean, it's got a couple of meanings for me, but it depends on how you're thinking about it. When I think about holding space, I think about being present for someone, whether it could be myself, holding space for myself, you have to do that as well, or holding space for someone else so that they feel supported. When I first thought or learned about holding space was when I was learning to do body work on horses as an equine massage therapist. I had to create a comfortable, safe container for the horse when I was working on that. So that's how I really initially learned how to hold space. What about you, Frida? What does it mean to you?
I think you started off describing it really well. I think, yeah, because holding space, when you know that you're holding the space, it's such a really cool experience because it's almost like you can almost touch it with your hands because it's so like, I mean, I don't know what a good word is to describe it, but it's almost like sacred because it's like you're giving someone else, when I'm talking about a client, for example, or a friend that you're holding space for, you're giving them the time to just be, in the present moment because they need it. So to me, I always feel very honored when I get to hold a space for someone.
That's beautiful. I love that. And I'm thinking about when we have retreats,
Yeah.
which we do have a couple coming up. We have one at the end of May, but when we have a retreat, you and I collectively are holding space for everyone who's attending, all of the humans. We're holding space for the horses, and it we are like creating this giant container, this giant bubble of safety, and letting people and the horses know that this is a safe space for people. And that's, I feel like that's really important. And it is almost something tangible, right? That I feel it. So what are your thoughts around that?
It's beautiful to be able to hold a space for someone or yourself, but it can also be exhausting when you don't really know how to hold the space because then maybe you take everything in that is going on, whereas I like to hold the space and be able to just hold it, but whatever is happening inside that space is for the person who is working on themselves to carry or let go of. So I think that's also kind of cool to, try to explain, even if I have a hard time explaining it.
I'm glad that you brought that up because that's exactly where I was going with that is
Oh,
that,
nice.
see, you read my mind again.
Yeah,
Uh, must be your
every
intuition
day.
again. Yes, when you're holding space for someone else or something else or whatever, especially if someone's going through a hard time. I've even noticed that when I first started working with horses and doing body work with them, there were some horses that I didn't clear my energy when I left. I think it's really important that you set up not a shield or anything, but you protect your own energy, like you said, so that, something doesn't come in and suck energy away from you when you're holding space. I can remember coming home from working with a horse that was particularly not needy. They didn't intentionally want to be needy, but they had a lot of stuff going on. They had a lot of body issues, and I think that they just were not in a good space. And I just felt so drained when I got in the car and I was on my way home. I just felt really, really heavy. It's because I had absorbed too much of what that horse was giving off, and I took it too much inside me, and I couldn't, I didn't protect myself, and I also didn't, cleanse myself when I was done working with that. And I think, yeah.
Yeah.
What is your kind of way of, how do you protect yourself, especially when you're holding space for one person more or more people, like
Yeah.
in a retreat or
S-
something?
Yeah. So, I had to learn the hard way. I think I took on too much energy and I was just like you, I got drained and tired and, things came up that I'm like, this is not even for me to carry. So whenever I'm working with energy or clients with the coaching or the Reiki, I kind of like do a little ceremony almost in the beginning. So I open up, but I'm also making sure that I'm in my safe bubble. So that bubble is soft enough for me to be able to be open and listen and take in whatever the client is working on, but it's also protective so nothing comes in my field. So, but then also after each session, I always make sure to I do a little cleanse, and also in the evening, I take a bath or I take a shower, and I just like visualizing that everything that came to me, I just wash it out and let it go. It's super important to me. Otherwise, I can't do this kind of work. So I have to cleanse and protect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not, but as an empath, right? And you have to have some level of empathy to do the kind of work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to, want to like take on somebody's stuff and fix it and give it back to them, right? And I think that that's another thing sometimes that comes up that gets confusing, or is when we try and fix things
Mm.
rather than just holding the space open and allowing them to, guiding them and helping them through whatever situation it is, or whatever. And I see that in the horses. The horses don't try and fix things. They don't try and be like, all you have to do is this thing and that thing and the other thing, tell them what to do, and then you'll be fine. And that's what I mean by trying to fix things, because that's happened to me. I've done that in the past where you think you can clearly figure out what this person's going through, and you just say, well, you got to do this, 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 and this. And that's not holding space for somebody. That's fixing things, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like a fine line between that, right? Because as you were saying, and also especially if there's a friend or someone you just want to help.
Yes.
But they have to like go through it and we can guide them, but then they have to understand what they need to do in order to, shift or, progress in what they're working on.
So
Yeah.
how do you like, you said it's a fine line, and I totally agree. How do you take that fine line and act as a guide, while you're supporting them and holding space without going into fix it mode? Like, what do you personally do?
Well, first of all, I always say that I can't fix anything. I'm here to just support and guide and help you maybe think about things in a different way or sense things in a different way. I also say that I'm only like a messenger, and I can't interpret whatever comes up. I can just, say whatever feeling I get when I'm working. But then I can also for myself, because I'm a helper, I do want to help. So I think that's why I got into this work from the beginning. But I can catch myself when I'm asking all like the questions that are like honed into the problem, and I can feel my thoughts starting to like loop around this person. Then I know I have to just like release and like stop asking questions, take a step back and just be. Yeah. What about you, Sue?
Yeah, I think asking questions, as long as they're open-ended questions and you're not leading someone someplace, if you're asking an open-ended question and it's more of a, tell me what you're thinking, where you're trying to get them to come up with the answers. You're not giving the answers. You're just holding space for them, and you're
Yes.
and you're trying to just get them to, help them. And like you said, just asking the right questions, as long as they're open-ended questions and you're not leading someone down the path that you think that they should go down, that's not helping.
Yeah. No. Well, you think maybe it's helping in the time being, but then you realize like how are they gonna learn how to take care of this if you're just like, okay, this is what you should do. Do this and everything will be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like sometimes, even though we do protect ourselves energetically, it's hard not to feel, especially if it's a big thing, right? To not feel a little bit depleted. It's just, I think even when you're doing something that is like fun, like let's say you're traveling, or, and you're meeting new people and you're doing all this stuff and everything like that, I still get exhausted. I still get like I'm not holding space for myself, and I need to know what my personal limits are around certain things because I need to recharge. I mean, we've talked about human design a little bit, and I am a I'm not a generator. You are a generator, my friend, and
Hmm.
you create your own energy. And so that's why I need you, because I'm a projector. So if I don't have a source of energy, I need to know what my limits are. And that is really important for me to know, especially when I'm holding space for other people, that I better be as charged up as I can be. And I need to be able to protect myself and know when enough is enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but how do you know? So how do you know when enough is enough?
I can feel it.
Hmm.
If let's say I'm spending a lot of time with somebody, like let's say I'm traveling or if I'm doing whatever. Now I'm taking this out of the coaching realm and I'm just putting it into like in a personal realm. I will say I need to take a nap. I need to go be by myself for a while. I need to go whatever, sit outside and just not talk and not do anything. Sometimes if I lay down and I can just take a 15-minute nap, I feel 100% better. It's kind of funny. I mean, some people can't do that, but I can. I call it a disco nap.
I love
Only
disco
because,
naps. I
only
used to take
because
them
it
all
was
the
like
time.
a
Yeah.
disco nap, right? You're getting ready
Yeah.
to go out to the club and you don't go to the club until like 11:30 at night, and you got to take a little snooze before you go out. That's why I call it a disco nap,
Those days.
right?
I miss them
Those are
so
the good
much.
old days. Oy vey. Okay, we got a little off
Yeah.
track there, but
Yeah.
I I listen to my body, and that's how I do it. And there have been times when I'm trying to push through working on a project and I'm totally by myself. It's not like I'm holding space for anybody except me and my project. And I'm just like, I gotta go lay down. I literally just have to, I feel it. And if I try and push through it, it's gonna not make me feel great. Do it for a little while, but I just know. I just listen to my body. If my body's telling me like I gotta lay down, then that's what I have to do. I have to remove myself from the situation and go take a snooze or something, or even just be quiet, right? Just not turn off my screens. What do you do, Frida? How do you?
I sit in the car and scream. No, I was kidding. No, but sometimes
Well,
because
because
I wish I had time to take naps. If I have the time, I do take naps because I love naps. I need a lot of alone time. My family knows this and they let me have my alone time. And then I usually don't do much. I just like rest or, read a book or, watch a TV show or just like think about stuff or, but when I don't have time to do it, I actually went out because I drive a lot here in Los Angeles. So I'm in the car a lot and then I turn on instead of listening to pods and podcasts and stuff that I love to do, but that makes me think and I have to not, feel and stuff like that. So I love to play music, very loud music, and then I sing out loud. Super, like if people would see me on, well, they probably do. Who cares? I just sing it out. So
yeah,
that's
there
my
you go.
way to just recharge for a minute. And it usually makes me a lot happier and, easier in my body. And, so that's what I do.
Yeah,
Whatever
that's
works. Yeah.
right, right. Yeah, no, and I agree. Whatever it is that's going to make you feel better and feel make and give you recharge. I mean, maybe it's just like you said, singing at the top of your lungs with one of your favorite songs. Like I have a few favorite songs that I play in the car that will make me like just feel really good. And one of them is Barracuda by Heart. I
Good.
love
Yeah. Good
that.
one.
Yeah, like, yeah. That is a song that if I want to recharge or if I want to just, that. And another one of my all-time favorites, you can tell like how old I am by my genre of music, is Walking on Sunshine.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are kind of fun, that era of music. But yeah, Barracuda will get me every time. So
Okay, cool.
those would be a good recharge. So,
Yeah, we should have that as an intro song next time.
yeah, let's do that. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No
Yeah.
copyright laws there.
Who
I'll
cares?
call Ann and Nancy and see if they'd let us use it.
Yeah. But we did a class online a year ago or so, an intuitive class, remember? And the teacher or instructor, she always had music on when we started the class, the
Yeah,
first couple of minutes, but when everyone was coming in, it was so much fun. It was always fun
it is good.
because
It
it
kind of
puts
sets the tone. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe we should do that at our next retreat. We'll have music.
yeah. You can sing, I can dance,
No, you're
and
the
those are
singer.
things.
You're the singer.
No, yeah. Well, anyway, so it's important to do self-care if you're holding space for
And it
other
can just
people.
be holding space for yourself. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think it's really good to start thinking about that when you're with a friend or, if somebody calls you up and they're going through a rough patch, right? Or they just they're calling you because they know you'll listen to them, right? And not put in your 2 cents. So, can you think so we've talked about making sure that we are protecting ourselves when we are
Mhm.
holding space for people. What else?
After we've held space, we need to make sure that whatever is stuck, that we can release that or cleanse it.
How do you do that? I know you said you take a shower or whatever, but
Yeah.
what's another way to cleanse your energy really quickly?
Well, so I always go to the visualize things. So I close my eyes and then I can, I see the energy, whatever gets stuck. It can be in my body or outside my body. And then I use my hands and I brush it off. Like you can
Cool.
brush, or,
Yeah.
however you can go through your whole body. Just brush. That can help.
Yeah, and I used to do that too at the end of a massage when I was doing working on a horse. I would
Hmm.
just, kind of sweep everything off of their body once we were done and just
Yeah.
sweep it away like with the gesture of my hands. And I think that that's really important too. Some people like to pretend like or not pretend, but visualize like a flame or something and you're brushing things off and you're throwing it into the flame to just, have it disintegrate and have it go away, right? That
Yeah.
way. I mean that's
And
so
also like,
yeah.
sorry, washing hands is also really
Mm,
effectful.
hmm. Yeah,
Just
we
wash
can
your
go
hands.
back to some of our pandemic techniques of
No, thank you.
keeping that space bubble, washing your hands every 5 seconds, wearing a
Yeah.
mask. Yeah, if you feel that bad about it, then that's going to be tough.
Yeah. Can't
So
get, yeah.
here's our challenge this week. Last week we wanted you to say no to something. This week, if someone comes to you with a challenge of some sort, whether, whatever it is, see if you can figure out a way that you can safely hold space for them without trying to fix something.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I think that that can ring true for ourselves as well. I think we don't give ourselves enough space to work through something. We feel like we have to solve a problem immediately rather than just let a situation play out. Right? We want to just be like, I need to fix this for myself, not just for, if it's somebody else's stuff. So see if you can also hold space for yourself. I mean that might be even a bigger challenge than, somebody else, but see if you feel like there's something going on. What do you think about that, Frida? Holding space for yourself.
I love that. I'm gonna start doing it straight away. No, but it's great because you always forget about yourself and you're like taking care of other people or animals and you forget about yourself. So yeah, set up a time to, if you're going through something, if you need to work on something, why don't you just try to hold space for yourself for a minute and see what happens?
That's a good thing. And something else came up. What if you are the person that needs help with something and you go to someone else,
Mm.
right? And they say, well, you just need to blah, 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 right? You may have to tell them, hey, I don't really want you to fix this. I just want you to be present for me.
Yeah, that's
Right?
great. Yeah, please
Yeah.
do so.
It's hard to say that, I think, though. Just say, I just need you to listen. I just need you to be here. I just need you to hold space for me. And that, like, okay. Right. I mean, so that's another way that you can hold space for yourself is by asking for someone to help you hold space. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, Frida? Yeah.
No.
Okay. This was a little bit of a heavier topic, I think, but I also feel like it's a really important one that, you try and get out of fix it mode and just be present. And once again, the horses are really good at helping that because that's what they do. That's how they are. That's their essence is just being present.
Yes.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this week on The Air is Free. And please subscribe to the podcast, like and rate and share and all of those good things. It's how we stay afloat. And we want to keep continuing to bring you really positive, good content that you can actually use in your regular life. And remember, the air is free and so are you. We'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye.
That's it for today's episode of The Air is Free. I hope this conversation gave you something to think about, something to let go of, and maybe even a little more space to breathe. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, rate and review the podcast because it helps more people find us and join in the conversation. And if something resonated with you, share it on social media and be sure to tag us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us on Instagram, hit us up on our websites. Just come, say hi, send us a message, or let us know what topics you'd love to hear more about. Until next time, take a deep breath, let go of what you can't control, and remember, Luften er free.